Hey, welcome to the Scot Ferrell Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Got a great show for you today. Exciting. Friend of mine, Randy Sutton's on today. Before I introduce Randy, though, we got to introduce somebody else. That's Dirt Poor Coffee, sponsor of today's show. Greatest coffee I've had in beautiful Somerville, Georgia. So we filmed the show in Somerville. Now, I don't live here, but this is where we filmed the show. And the great thing is, they're Dirt Poor's right down the street. But you talk about wonderful food, wonderful company, wonderful people. Heather and her staff have done wonderful things. Just ask for Snarky. She's my fave. She'll take care of you. She'll get you everything you want. Great menu. Some of the best muffins I've ever had. They rival my grandma's. That's hard for me to say when something's as good as grandma's, but it really is. Dirt Poor Coffee. It's my go-to before every show. Actually, it's my go-to every single day. I'm in there every day. But I like coffee. So if you like coffee, Dirt Poor is the place to be. Also, if you have any questions, you can reach me. ScotFerrell.com is my website, or you can send questions to show@ScotFerrell.com. So that's how you reach us. Also, let me go ahead and give you a website you're going to want to write down. You're going to want to be able to contact Randy. TheWoundedBlue.org is how you're going to reach them. And after the end of the interview, you're going to want to be part of what Randy's going on. Got some exciting information that he's going to share with us. And he's going to share a story. We're going to talk about some folks we know and some movies that have been made and how we can help wounded law enforcement. Recently, I had Bill Miles, head of the VFW, come on. So we talked about how we could help soldiers. Now it's how can we help our first responders and our guys in blue. Randy, thanks so much for coming by. I'm going to save the bio because I want you to answer the questions. I hate it when people read my bio, and I would just rather you answer. You talk about you, and it's so much easier. So thanks for coming in.
Fine. I'm happy doing that. Happy doing that, Scott. Good to be on your show.
All right, brother.
Been a long time.
I know it. It's you were one of my last guests before I got sick last time. Randy was on my radio show, and then he came on my TV show, and then I went dark. But now we're resurrected. But let me ask you this: Wounded Blue, I got that, but you've got a personal story connected to Wounded Blue. If you'll tell that.
Sure thing. So, by way of a little bio information, I spent 34 years of my life as a police officer. I had a great career. I started it in the little community of Princeton, New Jersey, and I was a police officer there for 10 years, 6 years as a patrolman, and 4 years as a detective. But it was a small department, 30 cops in Princeton, where the university is.
Oh, yeah.
And quite honestly, I was just bored to death being a small town cop. So I picked up and I started my career all over again in Las Vegas, and I joined the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, where I spent 24 years of my life, and had to start my career literally all over again, going through the academy
Yeah.
and field training, and never looked back on that decision though. But I certainly got what I was looking for. I wanted action. I got action. In fact, there are several books that have resulted as my being on the police department here. Um, I had a wonderful career, but there were a lot of challenges along the way. There was
Yeah.
a lot of emotional and psychological issues that took place as a result, because no cop goes unscathed
Yeah.
when you're in the action. And I was involved in 5 shootings. I survived all of them happily. Not everybody else that was involved in those shootings did survive.
Yeah.
And of course, those incidents, they play a role in your life. You never forget situations like that. We call them critical incidents in the law enforcement community. So I had my share of them. But what ended my police career was not what I had anticipated.
All right.
I planned on going. I planned on going a few more years, but I was not given a choice. I suffered a stroke in my police car at 2:30 in the morning, right on Las Vegas Boulevard, and it ended my police career. It almost ended my life, and it was the most frightening moment of my life, Scott. I lost the ability to. I'm literally driving down Las Vegas Boulevard, and luckily I had a young officer with me. I was a lieutenant, watch commander, and I had a young man with me, and where I'm talking to him like I'm talking to you, and suddenly I literally felt my brain slowing down. I realized immediately I was having a stroke, and I stopped the car and I told him to get me medical. And I got out of the police car to go around to the passenger side in case he needed to get me to the hospital, and started speaking gibberish. And I knew I was speaking gibberish, but I couldn't control it. And then I lost the ability to speak and move altogether, and crumpled to the pavement and lay there helpless, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to communicate. And I got to tell you, man, that was the most frightening moment of my life. And I wasn't afraid to die, Scott. I was actually praying to die so that I wouldn't have to live like that. And
Yeah.
and it was luckily though, the same angel that's been on my shoulder my entire career was with me again. And the clot went through my brain and did its damage, but it certainly could have been more.
Yeah.
And I'm in the hospital for about a week, and I'm feeling pretty good, right? The doctor comes in, he says, "How you feeling, Randy?" And I said, "I'll tell you the truth, man. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm ready to go back to work." And he looked at me and he sat on the bed. He says, "Listen, I don't want you to think that anything we did here is going to preclude you from walking out of here and having another stroke or a heart attack." He says, "Because you have a severe heart disease and you need to consider your own mortality." And Scott, that is not what I
No.
had anticipated hearing.
No.
And I realized that my career was done.
Wow.
But what happened next, it really set the trajectory of my life. And that's that my own department turned its back on me and just said, "We're not paying your medical bills, and we're not giving you your benefits." And I was,
Just
"Wait a minute,
wow.
you can't do that."
Yeah.
I said, "There's these things called laws."
Hmm.
And they said, "Yeah, well, make us." And it was startling, is one of the words that I'll use. Um, I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
I felt alone. The department that I had, given 24 years of my life to, the community that I almost gave my life for, literally just turned its back on me, and that was a devastating situation for me. Um, Everything
Oh.
that I had thought about my blue family had now just gone away. And
Wow.
what happened,
Wow.
though, as a result of this, I won. It took about a year and a half. And I'm trying to figure out the whole time, why would they do this to me, right?
Right.
I go to see the sheriff who I served with for 24 years, who I was friendly with. And I said, "How do you treat me like this?" He said, "Randy, this isn't personal, man. It's just business." And he was telling me the truth, Scott. It
Yeah.
was just business.
He was.
I was no longer, an asset. I'm now a financial liability. And the reality was that they were hoping I would die in the meantime. They knew I was going to win, but if I died, they wouldn't have to pay. That's a very difficult realization as a cop,
Wow.
that your own department would rather you die. So, as a result of, and the things that you and I are going to talk about,
Yeah.
as a result of being a police officer for as many years as I was, and being featured on the TV show Cops as much as I was, and then being in the movies and writing books and being
Right.
a police trainer for years, I was very, very visible in the law enforcement community. And suddenly, cops started reaching out to me. "Randy, I know you don't know me, but I was shot in the line of duty. My department has thrown me away. My chief never even visited me in the hospital. Randy, I was paralyzed when my police car was hit by a drunk and they've tossed me aside." And I realized this is happening to cops all across America, Scott. And there was no resource for them. They all wanted somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And so the Wounded Blue was born from that travesty. And as a result of that, we've now held more than 17,000 police officers in the United States. And my team is made up of all cops who've been shot, stabbed, beaten, run over, screwed up and screwed over, and their spouses. And now what we do is we provide peer support for other injured officers, help
Yeah.
them get into treatment, help them negotiate through this
Yeah.
maze of what happens when you become severely injured. And we're touching lives, we're saving lives, and saving marriages, and saving careers. So what I thought was the worst thing could possibly happen to me, Scott, um, changed my life forever. And as a result, I believe that I'm fulfilling the mission that I was really put here for.
I know it's a great organization. It's thewoundedblue.org. Monthly donations. Please go check it out. Check out his board. I've got his board up on my phone right now. Let me ask you this, and there's a placard over your left shoulder of New York City. Currently, New York City's having some problems. I know you've got tentacles in New York City, and I saw you recently on Fox. What's the situation there currently?
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. They have the mayor there is, I'm just shocked every time
Yeah,
I see the electorate putting people into office that hate the police.
yeah,
And Mondami is one of those people. He's a socialist. He's completely anti-law enforcement. He celebrates cruelty in celebrating Hamas and
yeah,
terrorism. The police department, what he's doing is he's mouthing the right words, but they're lies.
yeah,
What he's doing is he's defunding the police.
yeah,
He's not saying he's doing it because that's now not a
yeah.
call to action, but it is what he is doing. He is basically trying to gut the police department. The city council of New York is completely anti law enforcement. So these officers are not being given the backing that they need. They are actually one of the lower paid police departments, believe it or not,
Wow.
and they're quite effectively defanging the police when they put rules into place that don't allow the police to be effective, and then they blame the police for not being effective.
Yep.
And that's what's happening, not just in New York, but New York is one of those cities.
Yeah, we're outside of Atlanta, so we understand blame the police. Atlanta's only about an hour, hour and a half from where we are. So we understand that. Now, in Vegas right now, man, you talk about changes. What's the law enforcement situation like in Vegas now?
Well, it ain't like New York. I can tell you that. Our sheriff here is great. He is you won't find any of the unrest taking place here that you've seen in Minneapolis and in Los Angeles because it ain't happening here, right? We'll put a stop to it real quick, and the few times that the left has made a move to try their nonsense in Las Vegas, it hasn't gone well for them. So, so I'm happy to say that the police department here is doing what they're supposed to be doing. The leadership is excellent. And it's interesting because the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department is different than many
Man.
because it is a combined sheriff's department and police department.
Oh,
So
I
in
didn't know that.
1972, the Clark County Sheriff's Department merged with the Las Vegas City PD to form the Metropolitan Police. So as a result, both of those departments combined pooled their resources and they decided that the sheriff was going to be the man in charge. So that's why the sheriff is in charge of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. Every cop is also a deputy, and every deputy is also a cop. It's just a designation. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But the sheriff is an elected position. A city police chief, right? They serve at the whim of the mayor and the city council.
Yeah.
So if you don't toe the line, so to speak, you're a political appointee, and you can lose your job. And police chiefs, believe it or not, have a very high mortality rate of joblessness because if they don't go along with the program, they find themselves without a job. So sheriffs have a tendency to be more ballsy because you can't diselect them for 4 years.
Yeah. One of my buddies growing up was he was the sheriff of Mecklenburg County in North Carolina, Charlotte, for 15 years. He's told some stories. Now, let me ask you this. It's been all over the papers. The Spencer Pratt got the election coming up in L.A. What's it like being a cop in L.A. these days?
Oh boy. I have a lot of contacts with police officers in California. and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. And the LAPD was once, one of the proudest police agencies and most effective police agencies in the country. The politics there is beyond belief. The inability of the police to properly police because of all of the rules, regulations, laws, doctrines, anti-law enforcement rhetoric, politics, everything is working against the effectiveness of the LAPD. And what's really sickening is these men and women want to serve. They want to do the job the way it's supposed to be done. They want to enforce the laws. They want to make the streets safe. And yet they're not being allowed to. And then if they do, because let's face reality. If you're an effective cop, that means you're out there working your ass off.
Yep.
That means you're making car stops, you're making pedestrian stops, you're enforcing traffic laws, you're doing this. Well, what's happened in California is the politicians have actually created laws that tell the police you can't enforce the laws. It's absurd. It's maddening. And it's all this anti-law enforcement rhetoric, this madness that began years ago with Michael, whatever the hell his name was, that idiot down in Ferguson, and
Yes.
then George Floyd, another one of the biggest travesties of
Yeah.
of the mistrust
Yeah.
of the political environment that's ever taken place. I mean, it's just police officers now are facing struggles that would have been unimaginable 20 years ago.
Yeah, I never thought we would see the time to where we were mad at police officers doing their job. Now, let me ask with the Wounded Blue. Now, you guys operate all over the continental United States, including Alaska and Hawaii, correct? Yeah. All right, so
Correct.
I'm sure you get calls from small counties to big cities. What is it we can do? Because we're going to talk about fun stuff in a minute, but I want to get this done. Other than go to the website, thewoundedblue.org, how can we help as a community for you guys?
The Wounded Blue is a national charity, and we are the national assistance and support organization for injured and disabled police officers. And we recognize injuries as being either physical or
Or
emotional and
emotional.
psychological because we know that post-traumatic stress can be as real as a bullet. In fact, we probably do more in relation to post-traumatic stress. Notice I don't say PTSD.
Yeah.
I call it post-traumatic stress injury. Because we're getting away from that word disorder. It's not a disorder; it's an injury.
Yep.
And we work tirelessly to provide support for men and women, get people into treatment all the time. We've got some amazing stories. I've got a great success story for you that I'll tell you when you want to hear it. That'll put a smile on people's faces. Because I'd love to tell a happy story now and then because so many of our stories are not happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally
yeah.
I
Yeah.
deal with heartache and pain every single day.
Yeah.
I see the results of the violence. I see the results of the politics. I see men and women being abandoned like I was,
Right.
even in this day and age. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but people can help by really supporting our organization, which is a national charity, and we're literally a resource for every cop in America and every police agency and spouse. Because I mean, when a cop is hurting, their spouse is hurting,
Yeah.
and they're often the forgotten people.
Yeah. In working with the military, we always make sure we get the spouse and kids. Well, now we got time. Tell me the happy story. We do need happy stories because
Okay.
in what I deal, in doing what I do here too, I don't get a lot of happy endings with cops. And, being a pastor and being what I do, they always call me too late. So yeah, give
Right.
me a happy story on this one.
All right, I'm going to tell you a story. This is an unbelievable story. In fact, believe it or not, I was actually contacted by a filmmaker who's looking at making this into a film.
Outstanding.
That's how crazy this is. So, as you know, I'm on Fox News and many other media outlets. So about 5, 6 years ago, during the height of the anti-law enforcement insanity, I was appearing, and I don't get paid to do this.
Right.
My deal with these news outlets is they refer to me as retired police lieutenant and founder of the Wounded Blue. And then if it's appropriate, I can talk about the Wounded Blue. And on this particular broadcast, it was appropriate because we were talking about how cops are getting injured. Well, not 20 minutes after I got off the air, I got a phone call from a man who said, listen, I saw you on the news and I support law enforcement. I'm very patriotic. Tell me more about your charity. And that wound up into almost a 2-hour conversation. And he was asking very savvy questions and was very clear. He knew this. He knew the charity space
Right.
well. And when he asked for my 990s, which are your tax forms,
Yeah.
which show how every charity spends its money, I knew that he knew what he was talking about, and I sent them to him. And he called me back a couple hours later. He said, I see you don't take a salary. And I said, no, sir, I live on my pension. And he said, well, and this was Christmas time. He says, watch your mailbox. I'm going to make it a happy Christmas for you. And 2 days later, a check for $100,000 showed up. And that was the biggest donation we've ever had. Well, that is now, I now speak to this person regularly. I don't know who he is.
Oh, wow.
He's anonymous, and he's given me more than $2 million
Wow.
for specific things. And that's the story I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
So, a police officer who was severely injured in the line of duty during a fight with a suspect. During the fight, this cop is in the best shape of his life. 37 years old, wife, couple children. Gets in a fight with a kid who's trying to kill his grandmother. During the fight, he falls back and his spine hits the curb and he loses all sensation from the waist down. Well, they get him to the hospital, but they say you need spinal surgery, but we don't have a surgeon that can do it. So instead of doing what they should have done, which was airlift him to Dallas,
Yes.
where they did have a spinal surgeon, they told him to go home. Follow up with your own doctor. And that began the nightmare of workers' comp. So they said, you don't need surgery. 7 years later, he's confined to a wheelchair because he can't walk anymore.
Right.
That's when I met him. Addicted to painkillers. His department terminated him, or they were going to terminate him because he couldn't go back to work full duty. Luckily, the sheriff in the county brought him in as an investigator because he was a human trafficking investigator and gave him a job. Well, he was told he would never walk again, and it was devastating. 7 years later. Well, the voice on the phone as I call this incredible donor, and I were having a conversation, and mostly what he donates to is military charities.
Right.
And he was telling me a story about a special forces soldier who was told he would never walk again. But he went to an incredible surgeon in Virginia, and now he's riding horses. And I said, wait a minute. I said, I have a guy like that. He said, okay, send me his medical records. Well, to make a long story short, we sent him to the Virginia Spinal Institute under the care of an incredible doctor, Dr. Gizzini, who did 3 spinal operations on him, costing more than $300,000 that we paid for, or that the voice on the phone
Right.
paid for. And he danced with his daughter at her wedding 4 months ago, and he's got his life back.
Wow. Wow, that's absolutely great. You're almost like Bosley from Charlie's Angels, the voice on the other end, but nobody's met him.
This is the real deal. This is the real. We've now fixed 9 people that were told they would never be fixable.
Wow. It
Yeah.
was,
So
talk about
that's a hero. That's a hero.
It reminds me of Lex Luger. I was scheduled to interview him when he hurt his spine, and now I've seen him walking around in Atlanta, and it's just amazing. Now, again, let me talk about spouses for a second, because I know I always tell people I was sick and dying, and I was about to die, but my wife was the one going through the torment, not me. It's easy to die. It's hard to watch somebody die. For the spouses, I know it's difficult. What program do you guys have for the spouses and kids?
We have spousal support. So we have 2 people. 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 on my team, and all my entire team are trained and certified as peer counselors, peer
Okay.
support people, and we actually go out and solicit spouses who are going through the trauma that they're going through. And here's each year, and this is for anybody in law enforcement who's listening to this. In September, we are holding our 6th annual National Law Enforcement Survival Summit, September 28th through the 30th. This is life-changing, life-saving stuff. Every cop in America should attend this. It's about every aspect of surviving a law enforcement career, physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And spousal support is part of this. We have spouses that that do speaking engagements here, and they realize that they're not forgotten, they're not alone, which is our motto:
Right.
never forgotten, never alone. And so they bring their kids. It's a family thing. It's really an amazing. It's an amazing. We literally had cops stand up and say, if it weren't for this conference, I was going to take my own life.
Wow.
That's how powerful this is. So any cop in America or retired, because just because you hang up your badge and gun doesn't mean the pain stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
I urge you to come go to our website or twbsummit.com and sign up for this baby.
Yeah, we get the guys that have already figured out the pills and Jack Daniels help, and we have to get them off that.
Right.
Go to Randy's website, thewoundedblue.org. Can people come to this, and do you take volunteers, I would assume?
We do have we do have volunteers that are, well, my entire team is made up of volunteers. I have one paid person. That's my executive director,
Right.
because it's a full-time job, and everybody else is a volunteer. Um, it's amazing what we accomplish, considering we're a
Yes.
bare bones charity.
Yeah, I mean, and I've looked at your board. Impressive. Uh, it's amazing. Folks, listen to me, and if you don't know cops, I have lots of friends that are cops. It's amazing what they go through. They don't talk about it. They don't reach out to the public for help. All people want to do is bash police officers. I used to be a criminal. I never got mad at the cops for trying to arrest me because I was breaking the law. So once they caught me, I didn't put up a fight because I'm like, oh, y'all got me. So stop blaming cops for your stupidity, people. All right, let me get to some fun topics, because if I don't, my wife will kill me. Randy's one of my wife's favorite cops on TV from a certain movie called Casino. I remember when Patricia met him, she was so happy because people don't realize that, out of all the people, you were the one she liked the most, because you had the hardest job in the movie in a lot of ways, because you just had to be a cop. And you can speak to this because I've had to do this in movies too. It's much harder to be yourself and ad lib sometimes than it is to read a script. And for you, Scorsese's kind of hands off, and he just goes, Randy, be a cop. Right?
So one day, I'm driving down the street and I get a phone call, and this other person says, "Hey, I'm a casting agent, and there's going to be a film shot in Vegas, and the director is looking for realism in the part of a police officer. Would you come down and do an audition?" And they had seen me on the TV show Cops.
Right.
So I go to the old Riviera Hotel, and I
Wow.
walk into the suite, and who's standing there but Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. Talk about a little intimidating.
Yeah, a little.
Now, usually, I came to find this out because this was my first movie audition. What happens is they call them sides, but they're lines to read.
Mm-hmm.
And then you read the lines with the director, and then, there's usually 300 people looking for that role. And they say, okay, thanks, next. Well, my audition considered, I started telling funny stories about being a Vegas cop. And I had some pretty good stories. And I had them laughing, and they looked at each other and they said, screw it, you got the part. And that's how I got into an Academy Award winning film. And then you said something that was right on, and that is, they give you lines to read. You got a script. Well, the major part of my interactions with Robert De Niro and Sharon Stone was during a domestic dispute at their home.
Yeah.
And I ad-libbed the whole thing. Me and Robert De Niro just made the whole thing up. And Scorsese loved it and said, just keep going. And so I got to ad-lib an entire scene with Robert De Niro. It was it was an amazing experience. And that began my acting career, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And I've been in movies and TV stuff ever since.
Yeah, Patricia, my wife, if y'all don't know, she will walk around and she'll do Randy's lines. So she'll go, Mr. Rothstein, Mr. Rothstein. And she did it to Randy. I was like, baby, he knows the lines. He was in the movie. And she goes, but Randy's my favorite cop. He's just got to know that. My favorite was when you had to follow Sharon Stone to the bank and she tries to hand you money. And that was all.
that that
No
was all
script.
ad lib.
Okay.
Everything.
Now,
Everything.
was
Yep.
Sharon ad libbing too?
Yeah.
Wow, that's hilarious.
It was so much fun. I
Now,
mean, I really enjoyed doing that.
what was your tape time? How long were you on set?
Oh, I was on set for almost 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, I didn't know how long it would take. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot but of course there's so much downtime
Oh, yeah.
in those films.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, I had some great times as a result of that movie. And everybody thinks that Sharon Stone's, that she's got this great butt. Well, most of those scenes weren't Sharon Stone's butt.
Yeah. That was a
They
body
were
double,
her
wasn't it?
they were her body doubles. But
Yeah.
and I got to spend a lot of time with her body double.
I bet that's interesting. It's funny to be on set with not the star but the other people. Because, like I always do I'm in parts that, I'm this guy over here or that guy over there. And I never interact with the stars. And I'm always with the double or the stunt coordinator or somebody else. Now, let me ask about another film. It's about a guy that we both knew. Now, you were a good friend of his. I only knew him, Frank Shankwitz, Wishman.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, it's Make-A-Wish Foundation. But Randy was in his life story. Tell me what that was like to film.
Well, Frank Shankwitz played a pivotal role in my life. After I had the stroke and told that I needed to prepare for my own mortality, which means
Yeah.
you're going to die.
Yeah.
I was adrift, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? Now, by this point, I'd already written 3 books, so I knew that I was going to do a book, but I didn't know what it was going to be about. And then one day, I'm watching a news interview on some program, and Frank Shankwitz is being interviewed. And I was absolutely mesmerized by his story. He told the story about creating Make-A-Wish. And very few people know that a police officer, Frank
Yeah.
Shankwitz, created the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which, of course, is probably one of the biggest charities in the world and
Yeah.
has impacted the lives of millions of people, started by a cop. And I listened to his story. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I said, that's it. I'm going to talk to Frank Shankwitz and people like him about who it was in their lives that encouraged and motivated them to make such an impact on the world. And I reached out to Frank Shankwitz, and he lived about 6 hours away from me in Arizona. He knew who I was from being on Cops
Right.
and gave me an interview, and he became one of my closest friends literally till the day he died. In fact, when I created The Wounded Blue, he became my first board member. And
Wow.
Frank was he was a larger than life individual. He was one of the nicest human beings, sense of humor. And I'll tell you how close we were. Around my neck, I wear this chain. That's my grandmother's chain. I wear my father's wedding ring. I wear my mother's heart, and I wear Frank Shankwitz's St. Christopher medallion.
Yeah. If anybody ever met Frank, he was just one of the nicest. I always wanted his cowboy hat. Remember the cowboy hat? It was
Oh,
such a
by the
cool.
way, I
Yeah.
have his cowboy hat too.
So you have it. I asked him one time. I said, Frank,
His
can I
wife
have
his wife gave me his wife gave me his cowboy hat. Yes,
that hat is iconic. If you know Frank, you know what I'm
iconic.
talking about. It's everything you think of when you think of a guy like Frank. I always put Frank and John Wayne kind of in the same their mannerisms.
Well,
You know,
true story. He was the real deal. He was a real deal cowboy.
yeah, he was legit.
He was legit, man. And he had a sense of humor. He and I, some of my fondest memories are sitting on his porch, overlooking the mountains, smoking a cigar and drinking a whiskey, telling old cop stories.
Now in the film, Larry Wilcox was in that, right? Half of Chips. Is that true?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Seems like a nice fella. Is he good to film with?
I didn't interact with him at all.
Oh, okay. I
My
didn't know what.
part, my part. I played a police officer, small part, but you know what? Just the fact that I was in Frank's film,
Yeah.
to me, that's I can't. And by the way, the guy who did the film, um, the producer, I'm working on a project with him right now.
Cool. Sweet. When can
Yeah,
we?
so it's
Yeah.
amazing how life just seems to put a lot of different coincidences and circumstances in our path to fulfill whatever mission it is we were placed here for.
Yeah. Now people are going to be mad at me if I don't ask about cops. I've seen some of the cop shows. I didn't watch them all. I used to think my students, when I was a teacher, were going to be on the shows because I taught the kids who fit that profile. What was it like doing that show? What's it like to be an officer with cameras in your face?
So when I'm dating myself now, but I was one of in the first season of Cops, 1989 is when I was first featured on the show, and I was a
Wow.
patrol officer in Vegas. Now the way they chose people, they always rode on swing shift because that's an A action shift,
Right.
and they would go to the sergeant and say, "Hey, who's the guy that's going to get us a story?" Right? They want people that are go getters. So I fit that bill. They actually called us shit magnets, and they said, and the first day they rode with me, the producer said, "Oh, we got into a pretty funny set of circumstances," and he said, "We're riding with you," and they got so many good stories with me that they used me in season after season, even when I was a sergeant. So I wound up being one of the most featured officers on the shows. Well, that affected the rest of my life to this
Oh yeah.
day. It still affects my life because the show is so iconic that first of all it got me roles in the movies. It
Right.
gave me credibility within the law enforcement community when I became a police instructor. But also people reached out to me from the show who need help. To
Yeah.
this day, they still reach out to me. And that shows the reach of the show, but it also affected me in this way. The originators of the show, John Langley and Malcolm Barber, have both passed away. So the show is now owned by the families, and Morgan Langley, the son of John Langley, is the one who runs it. And he is a huge supporter of the Wounded Blue. Um, we, I mean, a massive supporter of the Wounded Blue, both in financially and also, um, uh, we actually work with his people because all of his film crew, all they do is ride with cops. In fact, one of them was actually killed in the line of duty.
Wow.
So we provide support for them as well. That's how our relationship is. Well, he came to me about 6, 7 months ago and said, "Look, Randy, I want to do more for the Wounded Blue than just write you a check now and then." He said, "We're going to do something that we've never done." He says, "I'm going to give you the license to use all of our intellectual property, our logo, our song, you name it, to help raise money for the Wounded Blue. And as a result, Cops Coffee is about to be born.
Oh,
Cops
hey.
Coffee,
Let me see.
Bad Boys Brew.
All right, when can we
So
expect to be
we
able to
are,
get some?
I think we will probably be launched within 60 days now.
Sweet.
It'll be copscoffeeco.com. It'll be all over our website. And here's the beautiful part 100% of the profits go to support the Wounded Blue. There's not a coffee company in the country that all of their profits go to support
Right.
a law enforcement charity. Some of these companies, they're supporting the military. Well, they're sending 5%.
Right.
100% of the profits of Cops Coffee will directly affect the lives of injured police officers in this nation.
All right. Did you select it? How did you go through the taste process? Did you go this one?
You know what? You're right. And I did.
Yeah.
And I did.
That's you and I
Because
both. We like coffee.
we are exactly. So we have a custom roaster, and it's very, very high quality coffee. We're starting off with 2 blends: Bad Boys Brew and Code 3 Coffee. Wake up like a hero.
Oh boy.
And yeah, these are the packaging is cool. And here's the other part of this: there'll be a QR code on there that any cop in America can reach out to help.
Yeah.
So if they need help, they can reach out for help just by looking at the coffee bags. And any American who wants to support law enforcement can reach out, hear about our story, and I think this is going to be a game changer because raising money, I got to tell you, Scott,
Oh yeah.
it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and I'm only limited by my resources. We could help thousands more, but we're just limited by our resources. So I'm really praying that Cops Coffee will become the success that I really believe it will be. And thank goodness for caring people like Morgan Langley, who gave us this incredible opportunity.
Yeah. Let us know, and I'll put it on the website so people can go to it. We'll make sure
I
that's
will.
handled. So as we start to wrap up, we just got a few more minutes. Your career's been something. It's so funny. My wife's like, "Where is he this week?" Because we follow you on social media when all you're traveling. And she goes, "Well, tell Randy I said hello." What you got coming up? What's on deck for? I know you're
I'm
on
actually
Fox.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be in your neck of the woods. I'm gonna be in your neck of the woods next week.
Where are you going to be?
West Virginia.
That's only 12 hours from us.
It's kind of your neck of the woods. Hey, it's the southeast, okay? Yeah,
Well,
I'm flying on Sunday. I'm flying to West Virginia to do a speaking engagement with the Fraternal Order of Police, and then right from there, driving up to Virginia to do some more media and to meet with the incredible people at Virginia Spinal Institute, who have now changed the lives of many of our people now. And then right from there to New York to do some television stuff there, media stuff for the Wounded Blue. So I'm going to be there for over a week, and I'm hoping also to meet while I'm there with some people from Washington D.C. that I'm asking for help
yeah,
for legislation to help protect our officers.
absolutely. It's needed. Where's the Spinal Institute located? Is it in Richmond or is it in Northern Virginia?
It is in Reston, Virginia,
Okay.
which
No,
is
we're
right
not.
outside
Yeah,
of D.C.
right out of D.C. Okay. I figured it would be in that corridor somewhere right there, I-95. I didn't figure it was on the 81 side. Keep us posted on coffee. Folks, go to thewoundedblue.org. The thing with this charity and the one I do with the military, there's never enough money because the needs don't stop. There's always a
Right.
cop that's injured. There's always a family. Look how many shootings we have now. It's a never-ending thing. They always need help, and it's our job as the community to help them, period. Cops aren't the bad guys. They're the good guys. Keep that in mind, and just help them. I look at young kids now, and I wonder why they want to be police officers. the way the government treats them, not
They
the way the people do.
unfortunately they don't. That's
Yeah.
one of the problems. We've made the job so
Yeah.
untenable now and that was one of the things about Cops, the TV show, one of the best recruiting tools ever.
Mm.
And it still is. It still is. They just signed for another 3 years. It's 40 years that show's been on the air.
That's amazing. I remember
It's amazing.
Yeah, and you and I both know this guy's not a very good guy, Steven Seagal. But you remember when he tried that Lawman show, and a guy said,
Yeah.
"I'm giving up, but I only want Steven Seagal to arrest me."
Yeah.
He goes, "I need
Well,
some credit at home."
well,
What?
here's a funny story about that. So I was a sergeant, and there was a request for an immediate backup by one of our officers. He was on a traffic stop. He says, "I need backup right now." He says, "I've got a guy who's going to fight me." And this guy is huge. Well, he had stopped this Pacific Islander, and this guy was a monster. And a lot of these Pacific Islanders, they love to fight. And
Yeah.
so this guy, he said, "I'm going to wait for you to get your backup here." He told the cops that, "I'm going to wait for your backup to get here because you can't handle me." This is a true story. So we're all rushing to get there, and 3 or 4 units get there, and this guy is chomping at the bit to fight all of us, right?
Oh my gosh.
And as we're getting ready to move in on him, he looks at me, and goes, "Hey, that's the guy from Cops. I'll go with him." Fight over. True story.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of those in a bar room where you look at the guy and go, "I'm not backing down, but this is really going to hurt."
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to take a beating, but I'm not backing down. Oh my gosh, it reminds me of that wrestler from the WWE. I can't remember his name, but everybody was scared of him, and he was. And those guys are huge.
Oh,
Wow.
this guy was a monster. He was a monster, but I'll never forget that. It was hilarious. So, by the way, I have a new book that just came out too.
All right, what is it?
It's called Rescuing 911: The Fight for America's Safety. It's on
Right.
Amazon.
Yeah, okay.
It's how we got into this criminal justice crisis and how we all need to work together as a country to get out of it. It's Rescuing 911: The Fight for America's Safety.
How can we pick up all your books from the Wounded Blue?
Amazon, of course.
Okay.
Amazon.
Yeah, I got 4 coming out this year, but I'm only doing love
Oh,
lollipops
wow.
and relationships. Yeah, my publisher was irritated because I disappeared for 10 years, and now he's like, "Your last one was a bestseller. I need some more." So I promised him this year I'd finish 4 books and get them out. All right, brother. Thanks so much for
Good,
stopping
good.
by, man. Let me
My
know when the
pleasure.
coffee comes. We'll make sure it goes on our website so everybody can buy some. And remember, go by thewoundedblue.org. Look up his organization. The folks are wonderful. Read through their bios. You'll see Randy on TV. If you watch Fox News, Randy's on it. He's always part of what's going on, the pulse of law enforcement for the United States. Let me know how New York goes. That should be interesting.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Good talking to you, Scott. Always a
right.
pleasure.
All right, brother. Take care. All right, guys, we got to get the mailbag before we finish. People get upset with me if I don't do the mailbag. Remember, thewoundedblue.org is how you reach Randy. Great organization. God, feels like I've known Randy forever. Always doing something for other people. That was he and Frank Shankwitz. Frank was one of the most humble, nice, down-to-earth, non-egotistical people I think I'd ever met. He's one of Randy's best friends. I only got to just know him and talk to him and hang around with him. It wasn't like I was going to his house for dinner, but I did know him well enough to know, wow, what a cool guy. If you have not seen The Wish Man, watch that movie. I remember when it came out. I remember when Frank died. Somebody called me and said, "By the way, Frank just passed away." I'm part of a business organization that Frank was in, and that's not a call you want to get. Just such a wonderful human being. It was such a loss when he left us. All right, some questions with the mailbag. I brought my phone today so I could read them. I can't even believe I've got this one, but I do get this question from time to time. And this is from Olivia. I believe she's in Duluth, Georgia. Olivia wants to know, I can't believe I'm answering this one. My boyfriend's been cheating on me. What should I do? Okay. Well, you could always run over him with a car, shoot him, catch him on fire. Or, since those are technically illegal, here's an idea. Get rid of him. I don't want to date you anymore. You're a cheater. Go away. I just can't believe I get these questions because I'm like, if somebody was treating me like that, I'm not sticking around. Why do people stick around and let people cheat on them? Well, they don't have any self-esteem. Again, 0 to 7 programming. We're programmed from 0 to 7. And we will accept whatever we were programmed to accept. And if we've learned to let people mistreat us, then we will let people mistreat us. At no time should you ever date someone who treats you like that. Why? It's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. We see this play out in the news on a daily basis. Some baller slapping his girlfriend around, whatever it is. You know, what did I say about the NFL, the National Felon League? We see this played out in real time on a daily basis. Why don't we put up with it? Well, we put up with it because we've allowed ourselves to be marginalized our whole lives. And so now I'm going to put myself on a shelf, let this person treat me poorly, and just take it. No, I'm good. I don't want to do that. You owe it to God, you owe it to yourself to go out and do something that allows people to love you and treat you well. Remember, people will never treat you better than the standard you allow them to treat you. Period. If you allow somebody to mistreat you, they will. They'll lose respect for you, and they'll feel like that they can do anything they want to you. Okay, stop doing that. That's not a recipe for happiness, and it's only a recipe for abuse. So, all right, then normally this is how this goes. They cheat on you, they slap you around, whatever it is. I have to deal with all these things, especially as a pastor. And I always ask people, what's wrong with you? Self-preservation. Let's do that first, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I hope that helped. Again, when I do these type questions, I have, 4 minutes to answer these questions. And remember, I'm not a licensed counselor, nor am I a doctor. I'm not an MD. However, I do have a degree, and it was funny, Randy was talking about Princeton. My mentor was number one in his class at Princeton. Now, I'm not going to tell you the year. He smacked me around for that, but he's older than I am. But he used to be one of the delinquents the guys in Princeton were corralling. All right, let me go to the next question. This is from Betsy, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So used to spend a lot of time there. Summer's upon us. What do I do with the kids now that I work? Okay, good question. Seems to be the age-old problem with parents who are not teachers. I remember when I was a teacher, the parents were always upset summer came because they're like, what am I going to do with my kids for the next 8 weeks? And remember, folks, teachers don't get paid for the summer. Teachers only get paid for 180 days of work. So don't think that they get paid through the summer. Now, some teachers allow their paycheck to continue through the summer, but teachers do not get paid to be off in the summer. That's why so many teachers work summer jobs. The problem is now once school goes out for 8 weeks, you've got to have a babysitter, or you've got to have daycare, or you've got to have camp, or you've got to have something. A lot of people just take their kids to work. Well, I used to go to work with my dad. I've gone to work with my mom when I was a kid. And I played with all my dad's secretaries all day. It was great. I loved it. They bought me hot chocolate out of the old hot chocolate machine. I think that thing was made in like 1950. It was great. I miss those machines. But you do something with the kids or get the kids enrolled in something that prospers their knowledge and their gifts. I always tell people, stop enrolling kids in camps that don't magnify what they can do. All right, maybe your kid's not a sports person, but maybe they're math and science, maybe they're art, maybe they're music. I got to do all those. Which one is it? Enroll them into something that will help them forward their career, forward their gifts and talents. I know a lot of kids who don't like sports. My own son didn't like sports. He liked to watch them, he didn't want to play them, but he's a gifted artist, and now he owns a chain of restaurants. He found his gift and stayed with it. Let your kid pursue their gift. I used to get kids at basketball camp when I was a high school coach. Well, my mom wanted me to be well-rounded. Yeah, but you're terrible, and you don't enjoy this, and you're not having any fun, so why are you here? Stop putting your kids in sport camps when they're not sports people. And you know what they like to do. Is it gaming? Is it technology? Is it AI? Is it math and science? Where do they belong? Now, I know these camps cost money. I got it. Trust me, I'm a dad, and I know how much money I spent on these things. I sent our youngest to seems like every basketball camp in the ACC. Why? Because he enjoyed it. No, he's not a pro ball player, but he was a good athlete, and he just liked doing it, so why not? So when you look at what should I do with my kids for the summer, what are their gifts and talents, and then allow them to hone those gifts and talents while they're kids. Whatever that talent is, I don't know your child. The great thing is that over 8 billion people on the planet, and no two are alike, so they all have different gifts and talents, and they all have different ways to do things. Ask them what they want to do. Hey, for this summer, hey, what do you want to do? What's a camp that would interest you, that within reasonable financially, that we can do? A lot of these camps are free. You just look at your county website, and somebody's always doing something for free. For me, it was music, it was sports, and then I became a teacher, and I did sports camps all summer, whether it be golf or basketball. I was always busy. I think I got 2 weeks off every summer after camp. But I hope that helped. Now, remember, kids are a gift. We only have them technically for 18 years before they become adults. Maximize the time they have with you, and maximize the time that you can help them achieve whatever their gift is. Whatever that is. I don't know what it is. Only you do. You watch them every day through observation. You know what they're good at. You know what they're not good at. Stop trying to help the weaknesses and go with the strengths. I'm not that teacher that goes, improve your weaknesses. Why? I'll hire somebody to do that later. I have trouble reading, so my wife reads to me. That's why you don't see me reading teleprompters and stuff. I can't do it. I don't have that gift. I don't do voiceover work because I can't read the script. But make sure you allow your kids to be themselves. Teach them self-discipline. Teach them how to hone in on what it is that God purposed them to do on the planet, and then let them go. Let them go. Let them do it. Let them practice. Let them fail. Let them continue. Let them get back up and fail again, and let them fail again. I wasn't always good at what I do for a living now. Believe it or not, I was a wallflower. I was afraid to even be seen. I hated having my picture made. I would refuse to speak in front of people. Now I basically talk to a camera and a microphone, but I'm still talking to people, millions of them. And finally, one day, I just got over it and got to do it. And so, like yourself, if your kids do it, then you do it. Whatever it is, your gift or talent, why aren't you pursuing it? Why are you not pursuing the dream that God always gave you? All right. That's where we wind up. If you have any things you want to talk to me about, I do have a company to where we help people fix things. We fix people and problems. So we solve problems. ScotFerrell.com is how you reach that, so go ahead and do that. Also, remember this. People out there need to know they are loved. Spend the next week letting them know how much you love them. Now remember, on this show, we solve problems. It's the wake-up call you never anticipated or wanted, but we're here to help you. I'm Scot Ferrell. Thanks so much for stopping by. Talk to you later.